cut you out. Yep. Okay. Okay. Enough of that. Okay. Hello, everybody. And what's with the testing thing going on up here? I see. Judy, what's this all about? And Wendy and Patsy, let us know. Okay, so hello, Laura. Hello, Patsy. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Fidel. Hello, Glenda. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Jeannie. Did I miss anybody?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Judy. Hello, Donna. Hello, anybody that we may have missed. So we'll just give it a couple of seconds here to get everybody.
Clear, Patsy.
Are you giving me directions
Yes,
now?
I
Are you
am.
the director now?
Yes, I am.
No, you're not the director. You're just the guest host, and you will talk when I wish it to happen as the director. Hi, Penny. You said testing.
Oh, you must have had your mic on.
Oh, that might have been it. Okay, I must have had my mic on when I was doing that. Yeah, I was fooling around with this comment section. So anyways, hi, Marilyn. Yeah. Wendy says Judy started it. It's her fault. Hi, Eddie.
Eddie.
Okay, so we'll get started here. That is, if it meets your approval.
Sure, I guess.
Oh, it's okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Walter's in a little bit of pain today. He
I pulled my back somehow.
Now we'll save them how you
I
pulled
pulled
it.
a muscle on my back.
You have a muscle there?
I guess. I don't know.
Do you have any muscles
It
in
only
here?
hurts. It only hurts when I try and stand up after I sit.
Oh, well, you know what to do with that.
Don't sit.
Don't sit. Yeah. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Christine. Some more people are coming in here. Hi, Shirley. And so I'm assuming you can all see us and hear us okay, because nobody has said they haven't been able to. So I guess we're all okay. So let's get started, shall we? All right. This will be short, this one. So, Walter, what are you working on? Oh, my goodness. Did you get my shirt done? Oh,
Almost.
I'm so excited.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yesterday's class, I put the collar on, and I managed to put it on backwards, so I had to rip it out and put it back.
Yeah, Patsy, exactly. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, so what else are you,
Well, I was going to put the cuffs on after I did that, but then I realized that the cuffs were cut a bit short, and I didn't like that. I remember when I made the shirt last time that I eased the cuffs in, and I found that they're a little bit skinny around my arms, and your arms are a little thicker.
Because I'm more muscular than you.
So I thought
That would be
I'll
the
just
reason.
cut the cuffs a little bit bigger, and then the sleeve end will be a little wider. So
Okay. This shirt, when did you start this shirt?
yeah, I did it. Just I had the intention of getting it done at Christmas.
Yeah, because you started it way before Christmas, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I know. I went all gung ho the first day, and
Hi,
then
Angel. Hi,
I should
Andy.
actually be able to complete it in a couple of days. It's been sitting there.
So
And the thing is I'm sort of the type of person that I have to finish that project before I'll do anything else.
yeah, Laura says, Walter, or laugh out loud. Put the collar on backwards, Walter.
Yeah, actually, what I do is I cut the collar out one piece. Well, the collar is normally two pieces, but the collar cut the collar out in one piece, and then you fold the two pieces over, and you end up having a seam on the back, right? So you got to put the seam on the back so that. I mean, actually, that shirt I could probably left the seam on the front because it's not that noticeable. But I'm kind of picky, so I wanted to have the seam on the right side. But when I was putting it on, I thought I had it on the right side, but it wasn't until I started ironing it I thought, uh-oh, it's on the wrong side.
Well, anyways, Patsy says, I put sleeves on backwards, so I had one sleeve going on one way and one the other way. Yeah, well, you did something with a sleeve once.
Yeah,
didn't
one
you?
time I put a sleeve on the neck hole and I couldn't figure out why it was. I had so much easing on it, and when I was done, I looked at it and there's a sleeve hanging out of the neck hole.
Well, anyways, it'll get done eventually. So, still playing around with the size of that box. If I get more than 2 lines of comments, it
Yeah.
seems to cut it off. I fooled around with it earlier today to get it going. But anyways, so I guess I will get a shirt sometime by next Christmas.
Yeah, hopefully
Or this Christmas coming.
Yeah, I don't have that much left to do on it. I just have to do it. That's all.
Yeah, famous last words. So Laura says, so the shirt was almost done? Well.
Well, yeah, I just got to put the cuffs on, and I got to put the buttons and the buttonholes on, which actually buttons and buttonholes aren't a big deal for me. And I have to hem it, which isn't a big deal either. So,
well, I guess it'll get done someday. I'm just playing around with that box. Anyway, so that's all you've been working on.
well, yeah, pretty much on that. And what else have I been doing?
I don't know. What else have you been doing? You don't have any classes because... So is Brendan started the...
No, he hasn't
classes
started
already?
the other class, so I don't know when he's going to do that.
Oh.
He's waiting for people to get their fabric. But,
Oh, well, that could take a while.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so what have I been working on? Well, I've been doing lots of things. Let's see. So, this one you've seen before. And I think I showed it to you. No, I didn't have it completely done.
You did show it.
Yeah, but did I have it completely done?
I don't
bound?
think so. I don't think
No, because I finished binding it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that. So it's all finished, the semi-bargello. It's all, done. Except, and there's the backing. I think that's upside down, actually, but it doesn't really matter. So the backing's kind of wild, but I like that. And then this is a close-up of my quilting. And no, it is not free motion. I did it doing a pantograph, which I do, as you know. But little story about this quilt. This quilt has been a problem since the beginning. And the problem is that, one, I had problems with the pattern because it had some mistakes in it. And then I put a couple of strips the wrong way and ended up with the design you see here, which is not a full bargello, as I told you before. But after I got it all done and everything, I threw it in the washing machine because that's what I do. And I throw in my color catchers and everything just in case anything should bleed. Don't usually have a problem with that, but you never know. Took it out, put it in the dryer, dried it all up. It was fine. Flipped it over, and there were two separate parts on my binding that had come loose because I sewed it. I didn't realize it, but I must have sewn the raw edge of it too close to the raw edge of the quilt itself, and it was enough that a little bit of the fabric frayed and it let go of the stitches. So there I've got these two holes. Now at this point, you can't really fix it so no one will see that without basically having to rip off the whole binding and redo the binding completely on it. And I wasn't doing that. Now you could probably, if you were a good hand sewer, you could probably mend it so it would be pretty much invisible from that, but I'm not a good hand sewer. I'm not even close. So I thought, we have the technology, let's do it. I used a very fine, narrow zigzag stitch, and that gathered up and secured those raw edges, and I used it in the same color as what the binding is, and you can't see it at all. In fact, I had a hard time.
It's hard to find it.
I had a hard time finding it to point it out to Walter. So, fine, it's fixed, it's done. If I don't tell anybody, you're all sworn to secrecy. No one will ever know. The other thing that I've been working on, let's get me a picture up here, is of course this one that I showed you bits and pieces of. I haven't got it. I've got it on Lucy. That's what you're seeing here. And I've started to do the edge-to-edge design using a pantograph as well. But I was going to finish it up this weekend because it's not going to take me that long to do that particular design because it's just like a scribble or a stippling kind of a thing. But I got waylaid by another project that I'm working on right now. And this comes from the pop-up sew day we had yesterday. And no, I don't have a picture of it. Oh, but while I'm here, more gnomes. Didn't come out completely well. This part's a little jagged.
Bad gnomes.
Bad gnomes, yeah. They call it wall art. You can print these two-dimensional things on your 3D printer kind of a thing. I saw it, thought it was cute, thought I'd do it. But I did do this. This is Mona Lisa. She's got a bit of a complexion problem. I see when it's close up, a little pimply there. She has to get out her Clearasil or something. This was somebody has done this and got her sort of sitting with her arms on a pedestal kind of a deal. But actually, I did it in marble filament. It turned out pretty good, I think, with it. But anyways, I'm just going to get out of these here and just go back to us. There we are. So anyways, that's what I've been working on, but the latest project is, and I don't really have anything to show you, it's a kit. I've had this kit for years, literally years. And it's made up of just rail fence blocks, and the kit came with all the fabric, as they usually do. And it had what they said was 1.5-inch strips. And that's basically what you make the blocks from. You just put, 6, or it said to put 5 of the strips together and then cut it down to 5.5-inch square. Okay, fine, nothing hard about that, except when I went to cut or trim up the first square, I discovered that there was a lot more fabric in the square than there should have been. In fact, to the point where you didn't really need to sew together 5 strips. You could sew just together 4 strips and still have enough to work with. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with this? What's going on? Well, I decided to measure the strips. They were supposed to be 1.5-inch, cut at 1.5-inch a piece. They were cut at 2-inch. That's why it was more fabric than I needed. But I'm not worried about it because I'll do all of the squares the same way. And so it just means the overall dimensions of the quilt will be different from the pattern, but that doesn't matter. It'll all fit together. But I should have known, I should have tried that, measured them first before I started anything, because I've run into that problem with jelly rolls before. You're assuming that everything in the jelly roll is 2.5 inches wide. Guess what? They're not. Not always. So, yeah, I should have learned from my mistakes. I never do. But I don't think I've ever made a quilt yet that's come out to the exact same measurements as the pattern says. But there's reasons for that, factors that are involved with it, but whatever. So what are people saying? Laura says, wow, love the close-up, shows great detail on the quilting and the fabric pattern. And Judy's lips are sealed with crazy glue. And Penny says, I'm taking a class called Fear of Free Motion Quilting. Yeah, I have sort of a fear of that. How heavy is Mona? Well, Mona actually isn't heavy at all because it is a filament and she is solid plastic, but the filament is so light, but it's because it's a marbled looking, faux marble look. It looks like it's really heavy, but it's not. Probably weighs 2 ounces, something like that.
How big is she?
How big is she? Well, she's,
where is she?
She's up there on the wall. Grab her. Grab my Mona. Okay, poor Walter's back. He's groaning and moaning. Yeah, get no sympathy from me. Because he never gave me any sympathy when I threw my back out several times. So here she is. This is what she looks like, but she's not heavy at all. I don't know, maybe a little more than 2 ounces. Maybe, I don't know.
How big is she compared to your head?
Yeah, fine. So she stands, what, about 6 inches?
Something like that.
7 inches, and she's about 5 inches across, maybe. So it took a little while to print. It took, I think this one was a little over a day to print. But I was really happy with the quality and the detail because, it's probably hard to see it on the camera, but you got the folds in her top there and on the back, on the shawl she's wearing, all the folds are there. And her hair, you can see the curls in her hair. And, yeah, and the pedestal that she's on. So, yeah, I thought it turned out pretty good. Put Mona in the corner. Nobody puts Mona in the corner. I do. Hi, Em. Laura says, Well, Stephen, you are a multitasker. Walter, not so much this week.
I'm not much of a multitasker ever.
Yeah, that's for sure. But anyways, so that's what I've been working on. And what other news have we got this week? Well, I did it. I ordered the Quilt Path. The Quilt Path, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is the computerized controls for my long arm machine, which will allow me, basically allows the machine to quilt my quilt for me. All I have to do is wind the quilt ahead when it gets to each section. And it does a lot more than that, so I've been finding out because we've been checking. It's coming from the company APQS that made my Lucy. And I was watching some videos on YouTube about what this little sucker can do. And wow, if you don't have to do just edge-to-edge quilting with it, you can go in, you can isolate a block in your quilt and set it up so the machine will only quilt a certain pattern within that block itself. So in a sense, you could do every block of a quilt differently and it would look like it's all been custom quilted, free motion custom quilting. And it does a lot of other things. Like if you have an applique, or say, like I sometimes like to put embroidery on my quilts. Well, if you're doing edge-to-edge quilting, you got a bit of a problem with that because you're going to have quilting run over top of your embroidery, which would maybe cause you some problems because there's a lot of thick thread there, but it will also look like a mess. But you can set up your machine so it will skip that and carry on with the quilting. So, which is kind of neat. So it's an expensive toy, this one. I think I've mentioned it before. They contacted me this week. The order had gone in, and they contacted me, Bob from APQS. I've talked to Bob before when I got the Lucy. He's the shipper of it all. He makes sure everything's there, and they're very, very thorough. He goes through your invoice with you. He double checks everything to make sure the order is correct. He tells you everything is going to come with the order and the whole bit.
Does he double check like what machine you have? And what,
yes, yep. He did all of that as well. And my machine and all the details about the machine I have are right there on the invoice because they have a record of that too.
Yeah.
As well. So very, very thorough. And then he passes it on to Jenny. Jenny is the person who looks after the money, I guess. And now I said to Bob before he did that, I said, Bob says, so what method are you going to use to pay for it? And he says, and as soon as you pay for it, then we'll get everything going with it. And he says, so just let us know when you want to pay for it. And I said, now, I'll pay for it now. And I mean, might as well. I do have the money for it, but I was waiting for my inheritance, but that's a story, a little story, a little later on. So I said to him, yeah, I'm going to pay with it with my credit card. It's the same credit card I used last fall and everything. But I said, there's one little problem. I said, last fall when I paid for Lucy, and even though I had phoned Visa up to let them know there was going to be a really large charge on my Visa card, so please let it go through, it's legit, they screwed up. It got rejected. Long story short, I had to go into a branch of the bank that looks after that particular card to identify myself. And the guy at the bank was really, really good. In fact, he said, oh, God, no. He says, we have this problem all the time. And he seemed a little frustrated, as much as I was. He got right onto the phone and he talked to somebody, got it all cleared up. Everything was good and it was fine. So I told him about that. I said, so I'm anticipating there could be that problem again because this little sucker is not cheap. It comes out into Canadian dollars with the freight to over $13,000 Canadian. So yeah, I don't usually charge that much on a credit card. And the only reason I'm putting it on my credit card is because I get points and I want those points.
Well, not only that, it's probably more, it's easier method of paying.
Yeah, it is, because the other way I can pay for them, like I had to have to go to the bank and wire them the money. And I really don't want to have to go into the bank and do all of that because I do not like banks these days. That's a story. But anyways, so I said to him, if when Jenny puts it through, if it bounces, just let me know and I'll I said, I'm going to try and call them in advance of that because I wasn't sure exactly when Jenny was going to put this through and tell them about it. But I said, I did it the last time too. And it's still, they screw up left and right. And they tell you, if you're going to put on an unusual charge onto your credit card, please let us know so it'll go through without any problems. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. So I was, of course, called up Visa to tell them this. I was on the phone for 20 minutes listening to horrible music when an email came through from Jenny. And she said, okay, we've done the charge and everything. It's gone through. It's fine. Great. We'll be in contact when we're about to ship the machine. I think it'll take about 8 weeks. That's what he told me to get it. I think it'll be less than that because they told me the same thing with
I think they do that
arm.
Just to cover their
so that you know, and then when it comes earlier, you're more excited and you think they've done a wonderful job. Actually, they do a wonderful job, APQS. I am very impressed.
Well, they're also relying on how fast it can get shipped up here.
Well, yeah. Now with the truckers thing, another story. So I saw that come in. So, and then an email came in letting me know that the Visa card had that charge on it because I have it set up for automatic notifications anytime anything gets charged to my cards. So I know. It's just a way of, making sure somebody else hasn't got hold of my information, all about that kind of thing, right? So hung up the phone, didn't have to call Visa, went right through. I was surprised. I figured I'd have a problem, but I didn't. So that's good. So that's the stage we're at now. And I'll be happy when I get it. Some assembly required, but I don't think it's that difficult. I mean, we put a long arm together. So, this is just a couple of things to clip onto it. I think it'll have a learning curve.
The mechanics might be a little bit
more
involved in how to put them on. So
yeah, but we've got Tracy at Whirls and Swirls, who's our local dealer, and she's more than happy to help us out with any problems at all along the way.
Probably should go in, see her, and just take a look at how it's set up.
Yeah, well, she said we can go in there anytime we want to take a look at it. So yeah, maybe we should do that. Well, we could do that next week or sometime. Tracy says congratulations on ordering the robotics. Yeah, now some people will say, well, you're cheating. Yeah, I am, but not really. Like, I have a different definition when it comes to cheating. You still have to learn how to program it. You still have to set it all up. And in my way of thinking, in the 21st century, I mean, we use sewing machines, don't we?
And use embroidery machines. So.
Yeah.
And people actually will send their quilts out to be long armed by somebody else. So it's not really much different than that.
No, and I don't consider it that. What's that error coming? We got an error there. Well, I think we're okay though. Oh, we're still okay. It's just, it looks like we're a little jerky. We are a little jerky. It's not receiving enough something. Well, who knows? It's possibly our internet connection today. Anyway, sorry if we're a little jerky there. That should go away in a minute. So, yeah, I don't consider it cheating. I'm just making use of the technology that's around us. So, such is life. So, Jennifer said, did someone come from APQS to set up your long arm when you purchased it? Nope.
No. Actually, Tracy, who owns the place in Whitby, offered to come help us if we wanted her to. But no, we didn't really have any problem putting it together. It wasn't that difficult, really. It was more trying to decipher the instructions and how to do it, because the instructions were a little confusing, mainly because the manual that we had we had a different table than came with the original machine, and the manual had, like, if you're setting it up on this table, do this. If you're setting it up on this table, do that. And they had, instead of having a separate section for each table, they had it all interdispersed in one section. So you have to really be careful to make sure you're looking at the section that had the right table on it. Yeah. So other than that, it went together reasonably well. It it went together reasonably easy. We didn't make any mistakes putting it together. So
No, we did have about a 45-minute little frustration because there was some pieces that we thought were missing. And I called APQS, and there was a little bit of a delay on that. But we got it solved. The pieces weren't missing. They were just not quite in the spot they said they were going to be in. I mean, they give you a huge manual with these things, and I'm anticipating that we're going to get a huge manual.
yeah, I know they sort of indicated in the manual that some of the pieces would be together with some other pieces. They came in some other pieces were in the right spot, but the other pieces weren't in the right spot based on the manual. So we were having a little bit of difficulty figuring out where those other pieces were.
Yeah. So Tracy asks, will you do a demo for us? Oh, yes. Of course I will when I have it all set up. Because I want to brag. I want to gloat. I want to go, look what I got. Nah, 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 nah. And I'm not too deep not to do that.
Yeah, like Patsy, if you're entering, he's not going to be entering anything into a show. And even if you did, have to be honest and say, yes, you've machine quilted it, or it's been quilted by a machine. So
now that's a good question. I wonder if they would, if in a show, I wonder if they have a regulation where you can't submit a quilt that's been done by the computerized system of a quilting machine.
I'm not sure. When we went to the local show, but that's different.
That's local.
Show. No. But you'll sometimes see, I've seen it where it would say the top was pieced by so and so.
Yeah.
And the quilting was done by a different person.
Yeah, they're giving credit to the other person who did the actual quilting of it. So they quilt it by check. That's what that's called, quilting by check. So that brings up a good point there too. If people think that because you're using a computer system and it's cheating, isn't it cheating if you send your quilt out for it to have somebody else who's much more of a professional in long arm quilting doing your quilt? I think that's the same thing. I'm sending my quilt out to a robotic system to do it. So,
Yeah, you're right. 70 Acres Studio, you're right. Who's that? Is that...
I don't know. Who is 78? Hi, 70 Acres. Who are you really?
Anyone, yeah, you're right. Anyone would know. Well, the hand quilting would probably have some irregularities in it, whereas computerized quilting would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And Patsy says, I think they have a computerized category. So they may have. I'm not intending to enter into any shows. When I first started quilting, I had that desire. That was a goal. But
who knows? Your goal might change.
Yeah, but you want to know something? That is years of practice. And the people who do that, I think, really are... They're extremely competitive, and they want the big prize and the whole bit for it. And this is for fun. And it's just like if you do this as a business, okay? You lose, it's no longer fun. 70 Acres is Melissa Bishop. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, Melissa.
We just like a name rather than...
70 Acres.
And also, well, the problem is, too, we do have trolls that drop in on here occasionally. And if I don't see a name that I recognize or whatever, if I suspect they're a troll, I remove them. So I just more or less, so I didn't think you were a troll because I'm watching what you're doing on here.
We may have paused.
Oh, we did. What's going on today with this? Okay, so you guys have probably I think we're unfrozen now. Yeah, we are. Okay. Sorry, guys. Who knows? Everything was working fine today earlier. I wasn't having any problems, and I don't know what's going on today. And I don't think it's us. I think it's our provider. Because I have noticed over the last couple of days there's been some irregularities again. So I don't know. See, we're jerking around up there now. We're a little jerky. But anyways. So, yeah, that's my new toy to come. And so yesterday, pop-up sew day. First one I've ever had. Didn't know how it was going to work out. We had about, at the height of it, I think we had about 17 people on there. And 78, Melissa says, I'm not a troll. At least I don't think I smell like a troll. Well, we can't smell you, dear. But
I think it's something you might have said. If it smells like a troll.
if it smells like a troll,
I don't
I didn't
know.
say that. Anyways, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, the pop-up sew day went really well for those of you that weren't able to attend. And I started at about 8 o'clock in the morning. There was a moment when I was thinking, oh, maybe no one's going to join in today. But of course, some people are coming from different time zones. We had one lady from New Zealand was on there. And for her, it was early Sunday morning. And we were Saturday. But that was really nice having somebody from New Zealand. So, and she's a relatively new quilter. And I think she got a lot of information from other people on there because we were discussing all kinds of things. I saw Eddie on here. Eddie was with us for most of the day as well. And I'm not sure if anybody else that I'm seeing in the conversation link was there or not. And if I'm missing you, I'm sorry. Oh, I think Wendy. I saw Wendy on here, wasn't she? She was there yesterday. Jeannie was there. Yeah. Oh, Melissa says, no, nothing you said. I'm just snarky. Okay, welcome to the club. Jeannie says, I saw 19 at the height of it. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's true. But 3 of those connections were me. And then there was Walter. Okay. Because I was on there with my iPad, and I was on there with my other computer as well for the little title screen. So, and it just counts everybody as participant. How much throat space do you have on your new long arm?
It has a 26-inch
yeah.
throat.
Fidel was out all day. Yeah, Fidel, we know you were. But we'll have more. I don't know when the next one's going to be. And when I have it, I'll put up a 24-hour notice before I have it, and it'll go up on YouTube. And so have your notifications bell checked so you can see that if you're interested whenever it comes up. But the next one won't be for a couple of weeks. Judy says, I sewed alone. Should pick up my tablet more often. Yeah, you should join us, Judy. We have a good time with it. And, I find I get a little bit more done because I've got other people there. And it almost feels like you're at a retreat or having a sew day, like actually in a physical environment with other people. And in a sense, you are there with other people. You can talk to them, you can see them, we can show what we're working on, and all from the comfort of our own home. So yeah, it was a good experience, I thought. Did you like it? Well, you only joined in late.
Yeah, I joined in late.
Very late, because he was still sleeping when we started.
Well, I did get up earlier. I got up earlier.
Yeah, you did get up a little earlier.
But I didn't join in until after lunch, so.
Yeah, because he knew that he would feel like he had to work on my shirt.
Yeah.
And he was trying to avoid that. Yeah, so it was good. And so speaking of sew days and things like that, oh yes, and I think it was Jeannie suggested that I call it something that would include crafters as well. And that's a really good idea. So the next time I do it, it'll be probably called Pop-Up Sew/Crafting Day. So because you don't have to be a quilter or a sewist to be part of this. If you just want to join in and work on something, or join in on the conversation or whatever, it's just there. It's just so we can get together. It's like a group of good friends just getting together and sharing a good time. At least that's what I hope people feel that it's like, because that's what I'm aiming for. Very relaxed, very fun. So, speaking of relaxed and fun, update on the retreat. I have now lined up 3 guest speakers. One of them is going to be a big surprise, but if you were on at the sew day yesterday, the pop-up sew day, you know who it is. But you were sworn to secrecy, and you people know who you are on here, okay? But it's going to be well worth the price of admission, which is free, by the way. So, you don't like it, too bad. You can ask for your money back, but you're not getting anything because you didn't pay anything. We do have some local celebrities. I'm not going to tell you who those... Well, I don't know if I can. One of those celebrities is on here today. I don't know if I should say anything yet, because this person, I don't know if they want me to reveal this yet or not. So maybe I'll just hold off on that until for another week or whatever. But it's going to be, again, really interesting. And I have a third person, and the third person is not a quilter. The other two are quilters. The third person is a crafter. And she's one of the ladies that's in my art journaling group. And I've asked her to show us some of her 3D paper creations because they're really, really good. And so she is going to do that. She's going to talk about her process and how she creates them. It's not a tutorial per se. It'll be more of a light lecture kind of a thing and showing you some of her work in that. But I wanted something in there that would be for, you know, everybody, because there will be some people who will be at the retreat who are not quilters or sewists, who are paper crafters. So that's on March the 5th. If you don't know that already, I don't know how you wouldn't know because I keep talking about it. We're up to about 40 people who have indicated that they are planning to attend. I can handle up to 90. So, you know, there's still lots of space. However, I have a feeling I'm going to get a whole lot more about the week before or even a few days before who will come in because, you know, some people aren't sure of what their schedules are like that far in advance. So, and then there's just the procrastinators out there too. Or, you know, then you get the ones who, well, maybe something better will come along at the last minute, and if it doesn't, they'll join in. Boy, we've got people we know like that. And they drive me crazy. But anyways, so that's coming up. I'm really excited about it. There are prizes. Remember, there are prizes as well. But you have to be there online when I draw for a prize, or I spin the big wheel again for that. Okay, so Wendy says, oh wait, what's this? Melissa says, nice. I'm considering a 16 or 20 inch sit down machine. Can't stand at a frame. Yeah, they're pricey too. You're talking, well, depending on which one
Depending
you buy.
on what brand you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16 or 20, I would imagine that
About 10,000.
either one would be good.
Yeah.
Probably if you can go for the 20, it'd probably be a little bit better.
Yeah.
If you have the extra throat space because then you've got more room to push material, roll up material underneath and stuff like that.
Because the thing about a sit-down machine is, though, you are still, unless it's one of those machines, but that's, I think you have to stand at those, one of those grace frames where you mount your own sewing machine.
Yeah, you
on
still
them.
have to kind of stand.
But you have to kind of stand for those, I think.
Yeah.
But
I mean, a sit down like that, like the big Berninas and stuff like that, or
yeah,
or there's other ones like Sweet 16 that Andy Quilter does.
Yeah. But I would get the biggest throat size you can afford, because you won't regret it, because you're pushing a lot of fabric under that thing, and so you want to have a lot of space.
Also depends on how big a quilt you make.
Oh, this is the one she's looking at, though. Ooh.
Yeah, the Bernina. Yeah,
the Bernina 16.
The Bernina is a nice machine.
Yeah. There is a lady on Laura Koya on So Very Easy. She's a Canadian, has a very popular YouTube channel, and she has a Bernina, but I think hers is the Bernina 26 inch, isn't it?
I don't think it's 26.
No? It's 20.
It's a sit down. It's either a 16 or the 20.
The Q20. She has the Q20.
Yeah.
That's what. So that's 20 inch, I think. And she often shows it on her YouTube channel, like how she uses it and that. So if you've never seen her, you might want to look her up. It's called So Very Easy. Oh yeah, Patsy, you were there. Yep. You can't expect me to remember everything, can you? I'm old. And I make no excuses for it. That's just the way it goes. Okay, so, yep, that was the retreat. So this week, we had our friend I've been telling you about that just moved into his apartment, was over here for dinner. We went and we picked him up some groceries before he came over, like stock up his pantry a little bit with a lot of canned stuff, you know, staples like pasta sauces and pasta and soups and beans and things like that. Things that, you know, will keep on the shelf kind of a thing. And sent him home with leftovers. I'd made tiki masala. And so he's got that, and I put it in some plastic containers so he can freeze it or whatever he wants to do. And gave him a quilt, another quilt. I gave him the Nine Sisters, if you remember that one, because he needed something for the one that I originally gave him is more of a lap quilt, which apparently his cat loves. But of course, cats do love quilts. There's no two ways about that. And this one's more meant for his bed kind of a thing. So he took off with all of that stuff. We watched a movie while I was here, and he did his laundry while he was here again, which was fine. So we were out today getting drapes, or curtains actually, for his living room and his bedroom. They're not huge windows, like they don't go from, you know, ceiling to floor kind of a thing, but they're
because
long.
we originally looked at making some,
Yeah,
but figured that it was probably easier and cheaper to just buy some.
yeah. So anyways, we found what would look like they're, for the price, fairly decent ones at Walmart. We bought 6 panels for the living room window and 4 panels for the bedroom window. Then we needed rods. So next Thursday we'll go over to his place and we'll pick up some Swiss chalet that, and and when I say will, Walter and our friend will install his curtains, hopefully. It's kind of a weird setup in that apartment from what we can see on, you know, hanging curtains, but they're just rod pocket curtains. But that should make his place
cover his windows so that you can't look into them, because
Yeah.
sort of a basement-y type apartment.
Yeah, well, he's actually on the first floor, but it's low first floor.
Yeah.
It's kind of flush with a walkway, a throughfare kind of in front of it. And, you know, let's be honest, he's not living in the nicest part of town. And although he's sort of in a residential part and sort of tucked away from the main flow of traffic, nevertheless, you don't need people looking in your apartment and figuring out, oh, look, you're on the ground floor. We could break in here and steal whatever you got. And he doesn't have that much. But he does have an Xbox. And those things are very stealable, apparently. So Melissa says her husband's from India and he loves cooking Indian food. Yeah, we love Indian food too. Although we haven't made a lot of it
lately,
in a while.
Yeah.
I think we got a little off it. We used to eat it on a fairly regular basis, but we do like Indian food too. I don't imagine though we quite make it the way your husband probably makes it, given the fact that we're not from India. So anyways, that's
actually, she likes cooking Indian food. It says she.
I thought her.
I know.
I made the jump there and I shouldn't have. Well, either way, I'm sure it's better than what we make. Probably a lot more authentic, I would think. So anyways, yeah, we're looking after him. I said to Walter today, it's like we have a kid. Maybe we can declare him a dependent, write him off on our income tax. I don't think so, but anyways. So, what else? All right, so I guess everybody knows about the trucker situation up here in Canada. I am so embarrassed to be a Canadian right now. I really am. This thing has gone on too long. I'm embarrassed the fact that we have yahoos in our country who, I'm not against them protesting, but these people are not protesting. They're doing terrorist behavior. They're trying to hold a whole country hostage. And what's really horrible about it is they do not even represent even close the majority of what people think. And they're being funded and spurred on by an American contingent as well. They are just stupid people. They need to all get on the short bus and be pushed over a cliff. I mean, and I'm sorry if that offends anybody by my opinion about that, but I don't give a shit if it offends your opinion. That's exactly what I think of them. I mean, I'm just so embarrassed to be Canadian because we don't do this in Canada.
Well, obviously
I guess we do now. And what I'm even more embarrassed about is the lack of action on the part of our government.
Mm-hmm.
They are not.
They've been letting them get away with far too much.
And this is why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And like they keep coming out and say, oh, well, you can have all these fines and all this other stuff. But our government's known for saying that they'll fine you and then not following through. So.
Yeah. And they know that. And so that's why they're not afraid of it. And our policing service, especially the police service in Ottawa, sucks the big one. Their chief of police is the most lame, ineffective idiot I have ever seen as a chief of police. Now, usually your chief of police is somebody who's power hungry. Sorry if anybody has a relative in the police forces, but lately
this guy is just
this guy is something else. I don't have a lot of respect these days, given the actions that have been going on here with this trucker thing for the police force. You know, they're just doing nothing. Eddie says, what happened to our nice neighbors to the north? We're not your nice neighbors anymore.
As Angel says, heard their parent company is up in Kingsville. It's interfering with their deliveries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, they're stopping the traffic from going across the border here in Ontario and out west.
Supposedly, I read just before we came down that they've finally cleared the blockade at the Ambassador Bridge.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them went home when the cops came in and when they heard about the injunctions, but then there was the stupid diehards, who stayed there anyways and were defying the cops with the whole bit. You know, the thing is, I know, okay, if you take it from the point of view of a politician, like our prime minister, okay? I really like our prime minister. I think he's done a lot of really great things since he's been in office. But I think he has mishandled this situation. However, to take his side of it, I am sure, if he sends in the military, it incites violence. And if those yahoos start throwing things at the cops or at the military and the whole bit, they're going to react. Yeah, my peppers are going up in price. I know, Angel. Hey, Angel, can you smuggle me a few? But anyways, you know, and I know that our prime minister doesn't want violence. That's just not the Canadian way, really. We're known for being peacekeepers.
Well, not only that, it might cause other people to side with them more, I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it could. On top of it all, because then it'll become who threw the first stone, you know, kind of a thing, and all of that. Now, speaking of other people, though, this weekend, several anti-protest groups have arisen. They're the people who think this whole thing is stupid too, and they're trying to, you know, show their support for the government and the police services and everybody else in this as well, which I think is a really great thing that they're doing. But here's the problem. Those people realize our government has been ineffectual, so they're taking things into their own hands. Mm-hmm. And when bodies of people start to take things into their own hands, that's the beginning of insurrection and anarchy. And we are not a country that engages in anarchy situations. Or at least we weren't. Didn't used to. Welcome to the new Canadian. We're going to eat you and spit you out. Come on over. We're going to kill you. Yep. We're going to take a caribou and shove it right up your know-what. Because that's what we do in Canada. Yep. We're moose toting, bear hunting, moccasin wearing bitches. But, yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll get it fixed soon.
Yeah, I know. But isn't that the way of, aren't we being just like the government? Well, maybe it'll go away on its own. You know, sorry. Yeah, no. Laura says, this is a very difficult place for Trudeau. I can imagine how difficult a decision he's got to make. By the RMCP are useless everywhere, I'm afraid to say. By the RCMP are useless everywhere, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, well, they are. But, okay, let's take the side of the cops right now in this situation. In Ottawa, they're saying they need 1,800 more bodies. Mm-hmm. to help them out. The government hasn't done anything about that.
But then the government's turned around and said the Ottawa police should be large enough to be able to handle all of this. So.
Yeah. But for the cops, they are outnumbered in Ottawa at the moment with this. And those stupid idiots, the truck drivers and that, and those ones that are supporting it, they're the anti-vaxxers, essentially.
Well, they are and they aren't. There's also a bunch from the Western Exit group that are running the thing, too, that are political movements. So, which a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of other stuff going in behind here that isn't just the anti-vaxxers and the mask mandate thing. That's what they're putting up on the front, but there are a lot of the people that have started the protest or the instigators are from this Western Exit situation, and there's also a group of them that are somewhat racist in their beliefs and that are in the background as well.
Yeah, and
so they don't advertise that, but if you look at the people that are running it, or that are, I don't know what you call them, the organizers, the organizers of it. If you look at all their backgrounds, they've got backgrounds in racism, backgrounds in the Western Exit Party, which is like Brexit, like to break up Canada, and there's a lot of other stuff going on in the background, and I think that's what politicians see that too. So they're looking at it from a maybe a different point of view than like the average person is looking at it, because what's being advertised is that it's an anti-mask, anti-vaccine, an anti-freedom type protest. Yeah. So,
well, they're just not. But to go back again to looking at the cops and the whole bit and their situation. They don't really want to go in there and incite a riot because people are going to get hurt, and the cops do have a background or have been burned before. Anytime there's a riot and the cops go in, you know who gets blamed first for inciting violence? It's the cops, and they're power hungry and the whole bit. And although some of that might be true to a certain degree in certain situations, depending on how you want to look at it, they probably don't. If they can avoid it, they probably want to avoid it. But nevertheless, then they're looking for the authorities that be to make a declaration to say, do this. We want you. They're looking for orders because they are a pseudo-military group, the cops. They're looking for their orders from this, what to do.
Yeah, and I don't think that whoever's running the police in Ottawa, the police chief and his group, are not managing it very well.
I think they should demand that police chief resign because he's completely ineffectual. But the other thing I was going to say about this too is then there is the fighting between all levels of government. You've got municipal in Ottawa, you've got federal in Ottawa, and the federal government is in Ottawa, and Ottawa is part of Ontario. So the city of Ottawa actually comes under the jurisdiction of the province as well. And, you know, the province and the provinces and the federal government all have different duties. It's like how it works in the United States to a certain extent, where states have certain control over certain things and the federal government has control over other things. Well, now they're debating when all of these protesters...
who takes control?
Yeah, who takes control? They had all those ones blocking the Ambassador Bridge that goes from Windsor to Detroit. And they were saying, well, it's not a federal jurisdiction because they're not actually on the bridge. The bridge is controlled by the federal government. They were on the entranceway or exitways to the bridge, so that's under the provincial government's legislation.
And also the city.
So it's all this bureaucracy that's happening here, and so nothing's getting done because nobody...
they're all pointing the finger at each other saying, it's your responsibility to do it. So
they don't have the balls at any level of government to take the control that needs to be done. Trudeau could turn around and declare a state of emergency, nationwide state of emergency. And if he does, he has certain powers that fall under that supersede the powers of any provincial government. But he's not doing it. And
Is it also because maybe it's a minority government? So
Well, it's a possibility because, of course, the other parties that are not in power are. He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. But I have lost a little bit of faith in him over the way he's handled this. I think he's handled most everything else before this well, but this one he is not handling well. And it's not just him that has to make this decision. He has a cabinet. He has, the caucus. He's got other people in the government that will help him make this decision. And I think they're all just sitting on their hands and hoping this will go away so they won't look horrible. Well, guess what? They look horrible now. So Lorraine says, B said, BBC did a short documentary about it, and I thought your government was handling the situation well. I don't know. I haven't seen the BBC documentary, but apparently we are influencing what they're doing over in New Zealand.
And in France.
And in France, too. That's even more shameful. They're starting to use us as an example, and it's not a good example at all. This is not something we should be proud of as a country. Really. Lorraine says that Premier Kinney gave in and gave the rioters in Alberta everything they asked for. They're still in the streets and are increasing daily. Yeah, I saw that. He's claiming that he's not doing that. These things were already in the works, but no. Well, he's a piece of chicken shit anyways. A lot of the organizers that's what they're saying that they want, but actually they want more than that. Yeah, they want more than that. I don't know if they're still demanding that Trudeau resign.
Yeah, they were talking about a group of them were saying they wanted Trudeau to resign and they were going to form the new government. Oh, yeah, no, that's called anarchy. Yeah. That's not going to happen. But they've had an excellent example of this, but they're not learning from that when the crazy yahoos in the States stormed the Capitol there back in January of last year, after Biden got in and the whole bit. And look how that turned out. And did they win anything? I don't think so. They're just yahoos, but they're yahoos because they have no brain, because they only look at it in their way, and everybody else has to side with the way they. Well, an intelligent person looks at their mistakes and they learn from them, or supposed to, but apparently they don't. Anyway, we can talk about this for days. So what are you going to talk about next then? I don't know. There's got to be other things to talk about. Well, why don't you come up with a topic, because I'm not done with this one yet. So you move right along. What's this? Cindy says, wow, first words I hear are balls on that. No. Well, you came in a good time then, Cindy. And Laura says, exactly, Walter. Minority government is a thing minority government is thing Trudeau's hand to a degree. Yeah, is probably gotta hate spell checker. Holding his hand. Yeah. Or tying. Keeping him tying his hands. Yeah, minority government is tying. Yeah, it probably is. B says, if you want to see a government in chaos, just look at the UK at present. It's fairly awful at the moment. I like your prime minister. Well, yeah, I'd rather have our prime minister than yours. But he is good for a laugh, at least as long as you're not living in the country and having to put up with that. Judy's going off to watch the Super Bowl game soon. Gotta have why go tonight. Yeah, it looks like she's got to have a wee bet. No. It's stupid spell check. She's going to have wings. Wings? Okay. Anything? Have anything much? Okay, see you later then, Judy. Enjoy the game. We don't watch it. I think football's stupid. Hi, Janice. It's not cheating on the stick it. I think that's back to the Ooh, time delay on some of these things. Well, anyways, we'll see what's going to happen. It really does upset me, because I don't know what we're coming to in this country, in this world. Well, whatever. Sure, let's just take all the mandates and get rid of everything. Let everybody go willy-nilly with this and watch them all die. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so what are you going to talk about now? What are you going to do next week? I'm waiting. What am I going to do next week?
That's a very good question. Well, I got my quilts to work on. Bye, Judy. Um,
Got any more boxes you're going to print on?
oh, I don't know what else I'm going to print. Well, I'm printing a thing right now on the printer that it fits onto your printers and it holds your extra nozzles, which if it works, that's going to be cool. So
You're gonna have a nozzle holder.
yeah, I'll have a nozzle holder. Oh, that can be taken in many ways, can't it? But yeah, have a nozzle holder. I don't know. I'm always looking for new things. Maybe I'll make a box. You know how I love to make boxes.
Or a shelf.
Patsy says, when will the robotics arrive? Well, they're telling me it'll probably take maybe as long as 8 weeks, so 2 months, but I don't know.
But I mean, they said the same thing when we ordered the long arm, and the long arm came in a couple of weeks. So
yeah.
so it's hard to say.
I'm not in a rush, although what I am in a rush for now, well, not really, because I can't do anything about it, and that was the other thing I was going to talk about today. So my mother's estate. All right. So it took at the most 6 weeks to do probate. And I'm still waiting for the bank. I have gone through so many stages with the bank. Last week, we went into the bank to sign some more papers.
Yeah, and that was after giving them the information 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Well,
and all it is like, it's only like one bank account. It has to be has to be finalized, and they still can't figure it out. So
yeah. So anyways, I have gone in, I have signed that, and so I'm waiting for the next. I'm hoping the next stage is the final stage, but I have no idea when that's going to be done. So yeah, I wait.
well, I talked to my sister. She used to work at that same bank, and she says it used to be that all that stuff was handled at the branch level, and now everything has to go through head office. So what they do is they do the papers at the branch office and then send everything to head office to be okayed. And it's like a cycle that wastes a lot of time. So talk about efficiency. I
mean, Angel's peppers would come across the border faster than this bank is taking.
I know.
I'm telling you. But anyways, the other thing too, when I was in the bank, I had 2 bills I had to pay for my mother's estate. They were government things. She was getting government checks when she was alive because of her lack of income, basically. But they sent her, one was a rebate on GST, which is the goods and service tax, and every
goods and service tax is like our value added tax.
Yeah, every quarter they'd send her put into her bank account about $114 for that. And then there was another one, it was the Ontario Trillium benefit, which I don't understand what that is.
Well, that is, I do the income tax, so I know. Yeah. Well, that is a rebate on, you know how she had to put in her living expenses at the nursing home? Yeah. Right? That's a rebate on that. Oh. So, and there's another rebate in there as well. I think it's a retail sales tax rebate. So.
But anyways, so there was those 2 amounts that were paid to her account after she had passed away. Bye, B. And so I had to pay those back. So I could do it. I can't write a check or anything off this account because the accounts are frozen now.
They're an estate account.
Yeah. But I have a bank person there that I'm working with, and she said, yeah, I could take it up to the teller and they could pay that out of the account. So fine, I did that. And that was fairly straightforward, except that the poor teller, she says, we never know whether we need to actually send them the physical bill.
Have a good work day, Angel.
Send me a pepper. I may get it by Christmas. So anyway, she said, or they could do it electronically. She wasn't sure, but she figured it all out and got it done. So those are off the plate now, and I'm glad that's all cleared up and done. So I'm assuming that within maybe another month, I can start, I will have control of the account, and then I can get my sister and my brother, give them their share of the inheritance and mine as well, and all will be well at that point in the world. But anyways, so that's what I've been working for the last week. Oh yeah, the other thing I was doing this week was writing nasty emails. There's a pattern I've been trying to get, and I was trying to get it from a place in BC. And I told you last week all about that. They showed it on their website, but they didn't really have it, supposedly. And then they checked with their supplier and then realized their supplier had missed sending them their order. That was their story. Well, I found the pattern on another site in a place closer to us, right here in our own province. And I was sending them emails to find out, did they really have it or not have it? And they weren't answering my emails and blah, 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 blah. Well, my pattern's supposed to come tomorrow through Canada Post from the place that's here in Ontario. Meanwhile, now I want a refund for that other order that I've already paid for from the place from BC. I've given them an little out. I've said to them, okay, if you're going to get it in a reasonable amount of time, and since I've already paid for it, you can send it to me. So I'll have 2 patterns. So I'll give one to a friend or something, or mount it on my wall and stare at it. But I would rather have the refund for the money, just to make a point with them, because their customer service is sucking bad. Should I mention the name of the place? Yes, I will. It's called, I'll call them out, Dragonfly Quilting in BC. I don't suggest you deal with them.
Well, didn't you, when you put the order in, you assumed they had the pattern in stock?
I didn't have to assume it. It said it was up on their, like, if somebody doesn't have something in stock, which seems to be the general trend, is they will put out of stock on it. Or when you try to put it into your cart, it won't go into the cart. Or sometimes it'll be a pre-order and they'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes they'll say it's on back order.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll send it out to you as soon as they get it.
Mm-hmm.
None of those things. And now it's not on their website. They took it down after I complained about all of this. So, but I had forgotten, short memory, I had dealt with this company one time before, over a year or so ago. And I remember at the time saying to myself, I'm not dealing with this company again. It takes them forever to fill an order with this. So screw them. Well, I should have remembered that. But I should have
put them on your blacklist.
Yeah, well, they're on my blacklist now. No 2 ways about it. So tomorrow I'm going to send another email off to my friend Janice at Dragonfly Quilting, and this one will not be nice. They're each getting a little bit more terse, when I get into it with them. So, so that's what I'm doing next week, writing hate mail. That's always fun. Eddie's got a comment here. Oh yeah, this is from yesterday. Eddie says, Stephen, I spent last night thinking of more Priscilla movie quotes. We forgot the best 2. Okay, Eddie, what were those? I talked about the one about the, best bang. And what was the other one I talked about? I forgot that was in there. It's been a while since I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Should watch it again. It's always a good movie with it. But do tell, Eddie, what are the 2 best ones? As soon as you say them, I'll probably remember them. So, anyways, what have you got planned for next week? Sleeping, bitching about your back. Anything else? It's a busy week for you already.
Your shirt?
Finish my shirt. Oh yeah, that's going to happen.
I'm not sure.
Because your life is just full. Just so many things. It's hard to keep up, isn't it? Abattoir. Oh, and Ayers. Yeah. Oh, the on a rock with a. Oh, yeah. How did I forget that one? I quote that one a lot. I forgot that completely yesterday under the pressure, of the group. It was so much fun yesterday. I had a good time. But anyway, so, yeah.
Oh, this BC in BC.
Wow, this BC and BC has bad customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah. This BC and BC. I know that means something else on here. But anyways, I get the point. Yeah. Bad customer service. Well, I think if you let a place get away with bad customer service, you're just allowing them, well, it's kind of like the truckers, right? If you don't do anything about it and think it's just going to go away, it doesn't go away. You gotta call them
I'm
out.
just surprised that a lot of companies can get away with bad customer service, especially these days. Well, I guess what happens if you're a first customer and you get bad customer service, you don't go back, right? And if you, but I mean, if they have enough first customers,
Yeah. Oh, Laura meant this place in BC. So okay, I see it now. Well, we sort of knew what you meant. Yeah, well, I think okay, I have a way of dealing with places like this. They're hoping that you won't make a complaint or say anything and you'll just forget about it and out of sight, out of mind kind of a thing for them. But I feel that they have my money. Okay? They had no problem taking my money, but they have not fulfilled their contract.
like I mean, at least if they were a company that didn't have it in stock, they should have emailed you right away and said, "Oh, we're so sorry, it isn't in stock, but it's on order.
Yeah.
Is that okay?"
Yeah.
Right. But they didn't do that, right?
No, they didn't. No,
And
not
they
at
just
all.
assumed that you were going to get it. So, and like things like that. Like, I mean, most of the time when you've ordered something from online from a company, especially some companies don't always show you how much is left on the bolt when you order fabric.
Yeah.
And you might order something from them and they say, "Oh, we're so sorry, we don't have enough fabric to send you. Would you like a refund, or would you like to order something else?"
Yeah.
Right? At least they do that. But I had one where Steve and I had done two separate orders from the same place, and he got his order really quick, and mine was just sitting there saying it was processing, it was processing, it was processing. So I finally sent them a message and I said, "Is there a problem with my order?" I said, "Because my spouse got his order sooner, or has already gotten his order, and we ordered it pretty close together, right? Almost the same day." And they said, "Oh, we sent you an email that we were out of the one fabric that you ordered, and wanted to know if you still wanted it or not, wanted what was left on it or not, right? But we forgot to press send on the email."
Yeah. Duh.
Right? I mean, if you, after several days go by and you don't get a response from your customer, wouldn't you look into why, wouldn't you look at your order again, see if they got your email? Obviously not.
No. Well, that company you're talking about, I'm calling them out. They're called Quilter's Cupboard. They're in Uxbridge, Ontario, which is about half an hour north of us. We have gone there before. And one of the reasons, another thing I'll call out on them is this kit that I've told you I'm working on that has the 2 inches instead of the 1.5 inch strips it calls for. They put the kit together in their store. And this is not the first time that they have miscut things that are in a kit. Kits are not cheap. This kit that I bought, and I bought it about 3 years ago, was $125 for it. It's not a huge quilt. But when you're charging money like that and you've got pre-cuts in it, then you expect to have the right yardage. Sometimes, and I've run into this with kits as well, they shortchange you on the amount of fabric that you need as well. And you don't realize that until you get through cutting it or you're halfway through making the quilt. And then you may not be able to get more of that fabric for it. So, buyer beware. Check it out before you do any cutting or anything with it. So basically, with that company, or with that store, I'm very leery about buying another kit from them because I've run into this problem a couple of times with them. So, now, did I go back and complain about it? Well, not on this one because I bought it 4 years ago. So, a little late after the point, after the fact kind of thing, right? But if you don't call them out, then they're getting away with it. And another problem that they do have is they like to blame everything else. Like this one in London, Ontario called Stitch It Central that I am getting the pattern from. But they didn't answer my initial emails at all. And it turned out the excuse they use is, "Oh, we've been switching over our website and we didn't see your email." Well, it went through their actual contact form on their website. And the only reason they responded to me and they went looking for it is because they have a Facebook page. And the power of media, I can tell you, social media, powerful. I wrote a message right there on their Facebook page stating, I sent you this question. Here's what I was asking. I sent this on such and such a date. You have never gotten back to me. And I put in there, I'm very disappointed in your customer service, and it makes me hesitant to ever try and do business with you in the future. Within half an hour of when I posted that, I got an email from whoever it was that looks after it, as a store owner, I don't know which. And that's when I got the excuse that, oh, we've been switching our website over and this thing got lost. But then I asked him, I said, okay, I understand that, but he didn't answer my question. Not clearly. First of all, he said, I asked him, all I asked the question is, I would like to purchase this pattern. I gave him all the information about the pattern, the call number and everything for it. So there was no misunderstanding of what I was asking for. And I said, what I'd like to know is, do you actually have that pattern physically in your store and are able to send it out to me if I order it? Yes or no. It was a yes or no answer. And I didn't get any response. So what he did say to me was, after he made his little apology, he said, yes, we have the chart in stock. Okay. I'm assuming, but don't ever assume, because you know what happens with that, that he meant the pattern. But I've never heard a pattern called a chart. So I wrote to him again to clarify it, because I'm a little paranoid, after the dealing with this other place out in BC. And I said to him, I'm assuming, but please tell me that you meant pattern. And again, do you have the pattern in stock right now? I.e., I don't have to wait for it to be ordered from you. You can drop it in the mail or ship it to me once you get the order. He got a little snarky with me. Don't you get snarky with me, bitch. Because you want to play bitch, I can be a bigger bitch than any bitch you've ever met. So yeah. He says, I called it a chart. I meant pattern. Well, they're two different things in my way of looking at the language. So anyways, I said, okay, thank you. I immediately went onto their website. I put in the order. Within an hour, he's sending it by Canada Post. I actually paid a little extra to have it expedited, which was actually the regular Canada Post was $10 and some odd cents. And if I expedited it, it cost me about 25 cents more. One would take 7 to 9 days. The other one was supposed to take 1 to 3. Well, for 25 cents more, I'll go for the 1 to 3, big deal. With that, I got a shipping number. And supposedly, I've checked with Canada Post through that shipping number and everything. It's supposed to arrive on Monday. At this point, it is no longer their problem. It's Canada Post problem if it doesn't arrive on Monday. And then I'm just basically screwed, because you can't complain anything with Canada Post, because well, it's not completely true, but yeah, it's Canada Post.
You'll say it was on a truck on the Ambassador Bridge.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, although it's coming from London, Ontario,
Yeah, okay.
So it's closer to us than Windsor is. But anyways, so we'll see. So anyways, I did write him back a little note after I saw the tracking number and everything, and I said to him, all right, you're having trouble with your website and everything. I get that. So, and I said, I really appreciate that you sent me a tracking number and you got right on this and everything. So, you have restored my faith to a certain extent in your customer service. So I threw them a bone, kind of a thing. Would I order from them in the future? Well, yeah. I think I would. This wouldn't deter me from that, because, okay, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But Dragonfly Quilting, no. No benefit of the doubt. Because I think they're just playing games with me with it all. So anyways, we'll see. It's to be seen what happens with all of that. Laura says, I've ordered from places where the item was out of stock despite the website saying it was in stock. I've been reimbursed immediately. Never a problem. Actually, a place that I get excellent customer service from is Peachtree Quilting out in Regina, Saskatchewan. And they call me. Like Walter was talking about the end of the bolt, they didn't have quite enough. That has happened to me with them. And they were out, completely out of that when I ordered it, and even though it was on their website. They called me immediately. It wasn't days. It was within an hour of the order going in and saying, okay, we're so sorry. We're out of that one. We do have this one that's very similar. If you want, we can send you a picture of it. And they have before. And, or we'll just, knock that off your thing and credit your credit card, for that amount that would have been for that one. Now that's excellent customer service, right on the ball, right there. I mean, sometimes you could say it's because right now people are having trouble with keeping employees around and things like that and blah, blah. No, what excuses are you going to use when COVID's over with and we're back to some kind of normal with it? That's just a cheap excuse that they're using. It's like restaurants raising their prices and blaming it on everything else. Yeah, they raise their prices because they want to maintain their profit margin that they had before COVID. They're not willing to take a little less. I get it. It's a business. Are they going to drop those prices after we come out of all of this? No, they're not. So that takes me full circle to why I put my Quilt Path on the credit card with points. Because I can get gift cards for one of our favorite restaurants on there with that. And given that if we ever are able to go to that restaurant again, we'd have to take a small mortgage out for dinner. So might help if we had gift certificates, right? So anyways,
we can go now.
No, we can't. I would not have a good time because I'd still be looking over my shoulder, expecting a tap on the shoulder and goes, "Hi, I'm Rona. I'm going to kill you." So are people saying here. Yeah, exactly, Laura. That's why it should be immediately refunded. Yeah. Yeah, Jeannie. I think you're right about that with the politicians. They're all afraid of a politician is only as good as their next election. That's what they all work for. Tracy says customer service makes or breaks a company, I think. And Laura says, I would think if a customer was out of province, the owner would bend over backwards more. Own it then or fix it. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the way the world runs, I guess. So what are we having for dinner? I don't know.
We always had that.
We had that. I'm so sick and tired of I don't know. Want something.
Toothpick in a glass of water.
Yeah. But we had that last night. No. Anyways. Okay. Well, I think that's it. Now we're rambling. So I think that's it for us today. Thanks for joining us as usual. Things will go up online next week. Don't know when the next pop-up crafting day will be, but you'll know when I know. Won't be for a bit. You don't want to overdo a good thing. And yeah, if you haven't let me know that you're planning to attend the retreat, please do. It just helps me with statistics, that's all. I'm not going to, if you can't make it, at the last minute or something, I'm not going to go and knock on the door of your house and hunt you down, run you over with a truck. Oh, I can't. They're all stuck on a bridge. Can't do that.
Patsy's having wings and junk.
Wings and junk. Ooh, that sounds good. We can have wings. Oh,
yeah.
We have wings. But anyways, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week, if not before. And so say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye. Have a great week.